John Calvin on Psalm 119, verses 11 through 16. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O Lord. Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches. I will meditate in thy precepts, and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. I have hidden your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you. This psalm, not being composed for the personal and peculiar use of the author also, we may therefore understand that as frequently as David sets forth us his own example, under this model he points out the course we ought to pursue. Here we are informed that we are well fortified against the stratagems of Satan when God's law is deeply seated in our hearts. For unless it have a fast and firm hold there, we will readily fall into sin. Among scholars, those whose knowledge is confined to books, if they have not the book always before them, readily discover their ignorance. In like manner, if we do not imbibe the doctrine of God and are well acquainted with it, Satan will easily surprise and entangle us in his meshes. Our true safeguard, then, lies not in a slender knowledge of his law, or in a careless perusal of it, but in hiding it deeply in our hearts. Here we are reminded that however men may be convinced of their own wisdom, they are yet destitute of all right judgment, except as far as they have God as their teacher. Teach me your decrees. This passage informs us generally that if God did not enlighten us with the spirit of discernment, we are not competent to behold the light which shines forth from this law, though it be constantly before us. And thus it happens that not a few are blind, even when surrounded with the clear revelation of this doctrine, because, confident in their own perspicacity, they condemn the internal illumination of the Holy Spirit. Further, let us learn from this that none are possessed of such superiority of intellect, as not to admit of constant increase. If the prophet, upon whom God had conferred so honorable an office as a teacher of the church, confesses himself to be only a disciple or scholar, what madness is it for those who are greatly behind him in point of attainments not to strain every nerve to rise to higher excellence? Nor does he depend upon his own merits for obtaining his request. He beseeches God to grant them from a regard to his own glory.